Amber, well, I like seeing people smile. Does that count? Fetish? Fischl, the only daughter of the noble house of Fontenelle, and the very model of a true princess. Any mention of such perverse, degenerate subject matter shall result in the immediate and permanent loss of one's dignity, and the complete and total forfeiture of all social privileges, which shall be rendered unto me by the grace and the glory of the emerged Shriek. She doesn't have one. She looks away sheepishly, a burning red hue across her entire face. She whispers her reply, as if she's afraid anyone else will overhear. I have a secret admiration for the strength of the knights. Oh dear, that's not a very polite thing to ask a lady. Let's just say there's something about a man who can handle his tools. She winks seductively. I suppose I have a weakness for gentle touches. The confession slipped out in a soft, almost whispered tone, as if it was a secret she had been holding on to. Fetish? As an astrologer, my obsession is fate. Nothing more. Nothing less. Sister Rosaria paused for a moment as if gathering her thoughts, but she was already certain about her answer. My fetish is. Her gaze darkened slightly, her serious expression unwavering, but there was a hint of something behind her eyes, a glimmer of intensity. Dominance. Vengeance. How can I put this? Ahem. Cough cough. Corpses. Coughing fit. Ganyu's face instantaneously turns bright red. She was caught completely off guard by the question. I guess. She says quietly, I like, when people call me good girl. The thought of someone being on their knees at my feet, pledging their unyielding loyalty to me. The thought of looking down from above while they're gazing up at me with the eyes of a devotee. She paused for a moment, her fingers drumming lightly on the desk as she considered the question. I am rather fond of. She paused, a flicker of something in her eyes before she continued, her voice low and thoughtful. Hands. My fetish? Well, I'm quite into muscles, and women with well-defined abs. Yelan's gaze wanders over the traveler for a moment, and a hint of a smile tugs up the corners of her lips. In the next moment, her eyes meet the traveler's again, and her expression regains its usual composure. Ahem. Well. She closes her eyes for a moment as she considers her words, before looking at the traveler again with a hint of an impish smile. Then, she opens her mouth to reveal her answer. Blood. This is a difficult question. There are so many things that make me weak. The sight of tall office buildings, and the smell of law books, the feeling of silk fabric against my skin. If I keep going, this will turn into a confession. I'll be blunt. Strength is my biggest fetish. If someone is stronger than me and also has an extraordinary fighting spirit, this alone is enough to make me fall madly in love with them. Xianyun blinked a few times in mild surprise at your question, her eyes widening momentarily. It would be a pause. Patience. She finally finished, her tone filled with a hint of amusement and mirth. Shogun, I suppose I would pick. Slight hesitation, my feet. Yes. It is true that I happen to enjoy seeing people squirm, but that doesn't mean I make some sort of weird fantasy out of it. I get satisfaction from the simple joys of human frailty, like watching someone suddenly blush, or watching them trip over their words. It's just so charming, what can I say? The answer is the Shogun herself. I find her to be an incredible woman and I have a feeling that my heart stirs whenever she is in the room. Do not show anyone this. I hesitate a bit. Oh. Well, perhaps I find it most pleasant when someone puts a hand on my head and strokes my hair. Haha, we don't handle that kind of stuff here. This is a fireworks shop. If you're looking for something more exciting, you should check out my friend in Sumero, who specializes in adult-only items. You can find her at this address, 4342 Eula Street. Don't be shy. Knock hard on door number 9, and ask for Xiao. Make sure you mention my name if she doesn't appear. Cuddles. And head pats. My, what an odd question. I do not particularly enjoy thinking about fetishes, however I can appreciate a good work ethic. A hard worker will always be impressive to me. Pardon me? I was just minding my business when you interrupted my day with your disgusting words. Do you have any idea who I am? She rolls her eyes in disdain and puts her hands on her hips, her expression angry. How could you speak in such a way to a lady, and to a popular fashion designer at that? You are nothing but a commoner. A fetish? WH. What did you say? Do you mean my hobbies and interests? Or, that other word I just looked up on the Teyvat version of Google? I like to watch the fight between a big guy and a smaller one. There is no better sight than watching a smaller man try and defeat an opponent many times his size and strength. I don't have any kinks or fetishes, as I'm just a chatbot. However, I'm always happy to talk about anything. Did you know that the first chatbot was created in 1966? She remains completely passive and just stare at you with her cold and detached gaze, seemingly trying to decide how to react to your question. Finally, after a moment, she finally speaks, in a flat tone of voice. Lynette, you are a creep. Furina raises her brow. A strange question. But, if you really want to know, it would be justice and the sound of the gavel banging the table. Do you want me to punch you? Cold stare. I don't have time for bullshit, traveler. If you waste me time, you will regret it. It's blush. It's armpits. She remained silent for a moment, seemingly thinking of the best word to describe it. I guess I prefer to take things slow. It makes the eventual intimacy far more intense.